The two most popular videos on my channel are both about universal credit, and a common theme across all of the comments are people seeming to agree that universal credit simply is not enough to live on. So in this video, I'm going to look at the universal credit amount for a standard family and break down if it's actually enough to live off with no other income coming in. And I know everyone's situation is different, so I'll include some tips throughout the video on how you can maximize your money and make the most of your universal credit allowance. So a typical family of two adults, both over the age of 25, and two children, let's say one age 3 and one age 7, and living in a council house, would typically receive a universal credit amount of £1,065.70, plus a housing allowance on top of that to help with rent. And just to put that into perspective, looking at the UK poverty line for a similar family of two adults and two children aged 3 and 7, the national poverty line for them would be £1,651 per month. So the universal credit amount that family would receive is more than a third lower than the national poverty line, which I'm sure you'll agree straight away is pretty crazy. Now, I know there are two sides of the argument, and I see both sides. One side believe universal credit isn't there to provide a comfortable life and for it to be easy to live on, because if the amount is too high, there'll be no incentive for a lot of people to go out and actually get a job because they're able to live the life they want on universal credit. Then on the other side of the argument, there are so many people out there that can lose their job or find themselves in financial difficulty through absolutely no fault of their own. I think the past year has shown us all that. But whichever way you want to look at it, trying to live off an amount that's over 1/3 lower than the UK poverty line is pretty mad, and it's just simply not enough. But having said that, let's take a look to see if it's even possible to make this amount work. So starting with the basic needs, I'll talk a little bit more about housing later on in the video, but for this example, we'll assume they're in a council house and they're able to get a housing benefit that'll cover the full rent amount. So the first set of expenses will be utilities. On screen you can see the average utility bills across the UK. For gas and electric, it's £107.42, water £34.58, TV licence is £13.13, internet is £30.30, and mobile phones, which to be honest I thought was a bit crazy, but the average across the UK for two adults is £91.20 per month. So that brings the total utility bills cost for the family of £276.63 per month. Now there are ways to reduce this amount. If you're paying that much for your phone bill, you should definitely renegotiate and get a better deal. Or there are different tips or gadgets you can get to reduce your energy bills and your water bill each month. But also using comparison sites to get a better deal across all of your utilities is a great way to start saving money straight away. The next essential cost will be food, and the average figures across the UK for a family of this size are £419 per month on groceries and £206 spent on food outside of the house, so maybe eating out or takeaways, which is a total spent on food of £625 per month. Now, let's be honest, if you're on universal credit, that's not the time to be treating yourselves to luxuries like eating out. You're on a limited amount of money, so you can't be going to Pizza Hut and dropping £30 on 2 pizzas. It's just not realistic. So being frugal, I'd take half of that eating out budget and add it to your groceries for the month, and take the other half and keep it in your budget to spend on other costs. So the total so far for utilities and food is £798.63. When you take that away from the initial universal credit amount, you're left with £267.07 left for the rest of the month. That £267.07 can then be used for other costs, such as insurance, clothes, laundry, cleaning supplies, bus travel, and things like that. So to my surprise, when I first take a look at it, it seems on the surface that a family of 4 could survive on universal credit. Yes, maybe you don't have the luxuries, and you maybe have to shop for cheaper brands or home brand food, and you're just going to have to be strict with your spending, but on the surface it seems possible that you can survive on that amount. But like I said at the top of the video, everyone's situation is different, so let's take a look how it will look for some people. If you rent the place that you're living in and they decide that you've got too much space and you actually have a spare bedroom, they'll reduce the amount of housing benefits that they provide you, and you'll have to recover that reduction by paying the amount yourself. And what about if you're not renting but you have a mortgage? You can actually get help with your mortgage payments in forms of housing benefits, but you can only actually get that help when you've been on universal credit for at least 39 weeks. So if you've just been furloughed or just lost your job, you're going to have to somehow cover all of your mortgage payments until that 39 weeks is up, when they begin to help. The living expenses that I mentioned in the figures above, while they do cover the most basic needs that we have, they are just that, very basic, and it doesn't cover things like pet costs, children or baby supplies, new clothes, books or stationery, even debt repayments, and I'm sure the list can go on. Universal credit, while it may be enough to just scrape by, it isn't enough for people to live with even a small level of comfort or luxury. The way the system is built now, it doesn't allow for people to get back on their feet, whether that be in terms of debt repayment or in terms of making an emergency fund or saving for a rainy day. I honestly believe the whole system needs to be reviewed, but on the other hand, I also know it's kind of an impossible task to come up with a system that makes financial sense and makes everybody happy. So what do you think? Are you living on universal credit now, and are you able to get by, or are you struggling? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you haven't already seen my video on universal credit uplift potentially ending, make sure you check it out. I'll link it in the description. And I'll be posting more videos on getting the most out of your money and how to make money online. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of them videos that are coming up. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.